Welcome back, everybody. Michael LaFido. We have a special broadcast today. You are listening to us live. We are on our podcast, Luxury Listing Specialist Podcast. I have a really important guest that I'm going to be bringing on. And before we start interviewing Ashley, just a couple reminders. If you have any questions about today's podcast or previous podcast, please shoot me an email, michael@marketingluxurygroup.com, michael@marketingluxurygroup. And do me a favor, if you're getting value from today's podcast or a previous episode, leave us a like. We're trying to get more reviews for our book and our podcast, but you're in the right place. If you're a broker owner, you're a team leader, you're looking to differentiate yourself from the competition. There's 1.6 million real estate agents, realtors out there. Everybody knows a real estate agent. So what can you do as an agent to differentiate yourself from the competition? With that being said, again, email michael@marketingluxurygroup.com if you have any questions or if you want to nominate somebody to an episode. Today's guest, I'm really excited to bring on Ashley Tate out of Colorado. She's with Thrive Real Estate Group, and Ashley and I met way back in January. She attended our luxury designation class that we had out in the Denver market, and we toured a couple mansions as part of that class. Matter of fact, coming across the screen right now, you will see one of those mansions we're talking about is actually this is the property that Ashley this is the one that she represented, and we're going to go from current slide. Boom. So this was Ashley's property right there, and so Ashley, we were so happy to have you on here. And when we toured the property at the time, I think you had it on, this house was on the market for about 6 months. We're going to kind of get more into that in a minute, but I just want to show everybody this amazing property that you represented, which we'll be talking about today. So I'm going to stop sharing. We'll get you back on here and we'll show that house here in a minute. So this property is listed for $6,995,000. It's in a town called Highlands Ranch, Colorado. You attended our designation training, and then the bonus day where we toured a couple mansions. Yours was one of the mansions we toured. Mm-hmm. So let's dive in right a bit. Tell everybody how long you've been licensed for, because they'll be a little surprised that someone that's been licensed for not as long as you have has represented one of those amazing properties like we just showed.
Well, thanks so much, Mike, for having me. I really, really appreciate this opportunity. I have been licensed in the state of Colorado for about 1.5 years, Mike. So this is a pretty big listing that I'm pretty proud to have. So,
well, you should be proud. It's an amazing property, and we were so excited to tour it. So let's step back a little bit. Tell everybody, before we came online, I think you shared with me, before this particular listing, you had never taken a listing above 500,000 in your career. Is that correct?
That is correct, Mike.
So licensed 1.5 years, most real estate agents will never sell $1 million property, let alone a $5 million, let alone have almost a $7 million listing. So now some people door knock, some people prospect. In this case, tell everybody how you attracted this $6.9 million listing.
So I hit it hard. I hit the ground running. I was able to kind of go online and look up some realtors information around the United States. And I pushed out text messaging. I called, I emailed, I followed up, and I got some great feedback. I got feedback saying, I've never seen marketing done like this before. So yeah.
So real quick, you're one step ahead. So right now you're talking as if you got the listing. So I'm talking beforehand. How did you even get the opportunity?
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. So how I got the opportunity was, it was just a floor call. I literally just answered a call that came to my phone and spoke to a gentleman out of Florida, and we just kind of took it from there.
So those agents out there that say floor calls don't work anymore, for those watching that are maybe non-real estate agents, a floor call is when you're a real estate agent, you work for a brokerage, and sometimes people stop in off the street, or they'll call in and say, hey, come list my house, or I want to know what my house is worth. And so Ashley was working the floor the day that this gentleman called with this amazing property. And so tell me about the nerves and what went through your mind when you did a little bit of homework, or when they started talking about how large the home is, or maybe you asked, what price do you think it's worth, and they shared that, or when you were doing your research, when you realized, holy cow, this is a $5 million plus listing. Talk to me about what went on in your brain at that time.
Sure. Actually, Mike, when I first got the call, I was like, could this be a scam? So
It could
actually,
be true, right?
it could absolutely be true. Absolutely. So I did a little bit of homework myself, kind of dug in. I did realize this was a real listing. The gentleman that called was actually from out of state, not really familiar with the Colorado market. And so, he had a price point of around 4 million. And we kind of went to the home and we're like, oh, heck no. We know after seeing the home and all of its beauty and how unique it was, we're like, no, we can get a little bit more out of this puppy. So it was great.
Oh, that's great. And again, I'm pulling up on the screen this home that we're referring to. This picture was an event that we did in Denver way back in January. We're just about to have our 4th live in-person luxury designation training. Ashley, you were part of the first live one in 2022, and then we did this one in Texas about a month after yours, and we're going to be in Miami coming up on April 12th. We're doing our designation training there. And for those of you that are watching this live, you'll see that URL come across right now. It's just luxurydesignation.com/Miami. That's going to be on Tuesday of next week at the time of this training. And then we have our big event in Chicago on May 12th and the 13th. That's going to be amazing training as well. So if you guys learn better in person and you want to take your business to the next level, you should consider attending one of our in-person events or the self-paced course. The self-paced course, you just go to luxurylistingspecialist.com. But if you learn better from hands-on, consider our Miami event or consider our event in Chicago, which is just go to luxurydesignation.com, luxurydesignation.com. So you did a little bit of research and you're like, wow, this property is amazing. And then you went out to the property and you brought on, based on you being at the time experienced about a year when you took on the call, you went out and you brought on a colleague, a mentor, correct?
I did. Yes. I did bring a colleague and a mentor with me, and he kind of showed me the ropes. It was great.
And tell me about what that gave you comfort-wise, having that mentor there.
It definitely brought comfort. It brought experience. It brought really kind of learning how to jive with the seller and getting a feel for how they are, right? In order to kind of relate to them and kind of see what level they're at, how much do you want to talk about certain things, what you don't want to talk about, things like that. So
do's and don'ts.
Help with confidence.
Okay, so they definitely helped your confidence. And that was one thing that you and I talked a little bit about before we came on the air here. You attended our full day designation training the day before, and talk to us a little bit about your experience there and some of your takeaways from attending our class.
A few of my takeaways were, first of all, it was wonderful. I would highly recommend it. Secondly, just sitting in class and being around other people that have been in the industry either as long as I have or longer, it just brought on more confidence. I was like, I can do this, right? Also, definitely answer floor calls. That is a great thing there. Also, it really made me understand how much a group could help. Bring in a network group, get some women together, get some men involved, whatever that looks like for you. It is very helpful to network in the area that you're in, plus get your name out there and get your brokerage firm and get that business rolling. It definitely is possible.
That's great. And so you had a floor call, you took this listing on. When we toured it in January, it had been on about 6 months. You shared with me that there was about 10 showings.
Yep.
And we had, part of the exercise of incorporating your home into the tour, we had 30 agents in the class, and we had asked some questions about, hey, is that 6.995 your price, suggested price, or is that theirs? What kind of activity? What has been some of the feedback? And you got some exciting news to share now that you shared with me today. What is that news about this property?
The property's under contract. We are
Awesome.
so excited. The seller's thrilled.
That's great. And happy seller, happy buyer, and that's a win-win.
It absolutely
congratulations on that. When's that set to close?
Set to close middle of May.
Okay, great. So if you're a newer agent, uh, you went through this class and you definitely felt like you could maybe go after some of these bigger properties, which you got before our class, but you think that's one of the big takeaways that you mentioned as well?
Absolutely. I absolutely think it's possible. No matter when you start, build a group, network, build your confidence, go out and practice, whether it's with a colleague, whether it's actually at a home. Yeah, it's was a great experience. So thanks, Mike, again for that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. No problem on that, Ashley. And so this particular property, one thing, the you know, one of the things that we tell agents is if we have feedback from the agents, we'll let you know if we had feedbacks as far as how you as an agent are doing and positioning the property. And Ashley did a great job. She had amazing literature out there. Again, just a reminder, if you guys have so much knowledge about the house in your head, you also want to put it on what I call special feature sheets. So, in case Ashley was sick one day and she had to have a colleague cover for her, or, how do you pre-sell a buyer or an agent beforehand? If maybe they don't want to talk, just send me information on the house. Well, if you have something really laid out nicely, we call those special feature sheets. So again, sometimes you have the brochures for the right brain people that like the photos, but the
Mm.
special features are great for the left brain analytical buyers as well. And tell me, you got this sale. Since our class, one of the big takeaways you said is create a networking group with other like-minded, hungry professionals that want to service those upper price points. So you've started that with a financial advisor, is that correct?
I did. That is correct. It's going really well.
And how many have you had? We're 2 months since the event, and you've already implemented. That's awesome.
Yep. I've had so far about 3,
Okay.
and I feel like every single week a new body's showing up, and it's great to kinda get their story and know what they do and help market their business as well. We're in it all together, so
Win-wins. That's what we
it
always
is a
talk about.
win. Yep.
So you start a networking group. The other thing we talk about is maybe joining a chamber of commerce that services
Mhm.
the market that you want to serve, and that's something that you're looking into as well, correct?
I am. Yes, I'm excited to kinda get my nose out there and get more involved in the Denver County and other areas, so absolutely.
Oh, that's great. Well, good. Well, what words of advice would you have for an agent that maybe is a seasoned veteran and they don't have $7 million properties? They don't have these multi million dollar properties. How far is this house in Highlands Ranch to your house or to your home office?
It's actually about an hour, so it is definitely
Okay.
it's further south than Denver. Mhm.
Have car will travel. So if you're hungry enough for you,
Yep.
you're willing to travel an hour, maybe even some of those snowstorms in Denver. It started snowing that day after your tour. We toured another property, and
Mhm.
I'm going to show that one on the screen right now. We toured this other property, um, and this house here, as you can see from the picture, you weren't there, Ashley. This one was in Parker, Colorado, and this house, you could see the flurries. It was snowing. This was the drone shot. So
Mhm.
you drove an hour to the showings, and because you're hungry, this is something different. You wanted to differentiate. You wanted to go in that price point that most agents will never go into, and you were willing to drive an hour. If
Mhm.
it were easy, everybody would do it, right?
Yep.
So that's great. Uh,
For that hour, it's 100% worth it. I just actually had the inspection yesterday, and I would do it over again.
you drive there in reverse if you had to.
Yes, I absolutely would. Blindfolded.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah.
Well, that's really encouraging news. So, part of what we're doing with our podcast, luxury podcast, and we're almost approaching 190 podcasts. Your podcast here is going to be 186, 186. So we're
Congrats.
almost at 190. We're going to be at 200 before we know it. Is we want to inspire agents from all types of backgrounds, all types of experience. And
Mhm.
so here we have on this, if you're just joining us, we have Ashley Tate. She's with Thrive in Colorado. She's only been licensed a year and a half. She had never listed a home above 500, and she's got a $6.995 million listing under contract, and she incorporated that mansion, that amazing home, into our luxury designation training that we had out in Denver. And I want to thank you again for that. That definitely added to the experience for those agents that attended. And uh, and then you sold a 1.2 before this on the buy side, but this
Mhm.
by far will be your highest sale. So how are you going to leverage this sale? How are you going to leverage it to hopefully attract other multi-million dollar sellers and multi-million dollar buyers or referring sources?
Absolutely. Yeah. So every single time I meet a new buyer, whether it's on buy side or sell side or both, I'm just kind of talking about what I did to market this. It's really impressive. A lot of people you're so used to getting these automated emails, but I actually called and I care, put a lot
So
of
let's
effort
talk
into it.
about that. You started talking about that earlier. So you got this listing. Talk to us about some of the things that you did to get this home seen or top of mind awareness to local agents or maybe out of the area agents or local buyers or both.
Yes, absolutely. And what I did was I sat down and I had to roll out my calendar in the mornings. I specifically put in an event time for about 2 hours in the morning, and I dedicated that to
Time
this
blocked.
listing. Yeah, I definitely I time blocked out. I called agents from all over the United States. I talked to agents in Florida, LA, Seattle, here, of course, as well. I emailed, I got some great feedback. I got feedback like, gosh, I've never had an agent do that. What great marketing. I'm going to go ahead and push it out to all my pipeline. And I was like, yes, right on, let's do it. So it really helped. Also just sending out flyers and of course sending out the automated emails, within the Denver metro area, definitely helped as well.
Well, that's excellent. And so, texting, calling, face to face, email. Do you incorporate video much? From my training that you attended, if you recall, we're real big into video, whether it be video emails, whether it be even you create a video on your phone and you text it to that prospect, or a video on the property. Talk to us about video, where you're at with that today, and where you want to be after attending our class and seeing some of the stuff that we've been teaching.
Truthfully, Mike, before your training, I hadn't done one. I hadn't done live streamed. I hadn't really been on the social media platform very much. And I was like, all right, let's do this. And so one of the first times I did live stream was actually at that house that you just showed everyone, and it was a hit. And I absolutely think it's everyone now is looking at YouTube, looking at live stream. That's kind of where everyone's views are going, right? So why not do it? Show them what's out there, show them the home, have them DM, text you, just kind of get those views and those likes and start getting those comments, and it'll definitely help business.
So you did a Facebook Live or a live stream from your mansion, your listing,
I did.
and you got some great feedback.
Yep.
Did you
Mhm.
get people reach out
Stunning,
to you?
unique, beautiful, great job. Just really encouraging people out there. So it was
And
wonderful.
did you get any feedback or people that interact that maybe haven't interacted with you before? Did it get in front of some other people and create a reaction that maybe you hadn't seen before?
I had a few people that weren't totally friends with me at the time that kind of reached out and had some feedback, but it's slowly getting there. I feel like that was a great start, and starting from there to now is definitely a lot different. And going into these bigger houses now and kind of live streaming, I'm getting some more views, people that I've never met before, so it is wonderful.
Good for you. That's awesome. So again, we got Ashley Tate here. She attended our luxury designation training
Mhm.
in Denver, which, by the way, we just celebrated our 6-year anniversary on Lux on March 31st. So 6 years we've been helping agents, not just in the U.S., but all across the world. We've done live trainings in Mexico, Canada, and throughout the U.S. And for more information, you guys could go to luxurylistingspecialist.com, luxury listing specialist. If you click on the events tab, that shows you where our upcoming, whether I'm speaking at somebody's event or where our upcoming luxury designation event is. So we have a lot of exciting things we're working on. Uh, any parting thoughts, Ashley? If somebody's got a referral in the Colorado area, what areas do you serve? Uh,
Denver metro area, all the way to the foothills, you name it, I go.
have car, will travel. And what's the
Have
best
car,
way
will
for them to
travel.
get a hold of you, Ashley?
Blindfolded in reverse, I will be there.
And what's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
You can reach me either by email at ashley@thrivedenver.com. You can also text or call me at 720-236-5762.
Awesome. And I got Ashley's email on the screen right now, ashley@thrivedenver.com. Ashley, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. And again, if Ashley can do it, if I can do it, if the other guests that we've had on can do it, so can you guys. Sometimes you look, you've ever seen those memes out there where there's a cat looking in a mirror and it sees a lion. Well, there's a lot of lions that look in a mirror and see a cat, unfortunately. And my point is, you as an agent have to continue to build yourself up. What are you listening to? Who are you surrounding yourself with? You're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with, right? If you hang out with 9 top producers, you're bound to be the 10th. So that's one thing that I bring on people like Ashley, who's doing a great job, but to not just elevate her because she deserves it, but also to allow you as an agent that's watching this, that's listening to this, to say, you know what, if Ashley did it, so can I. And so that's really my goal for those of you, whether you're a newer agent, you're a seasoned veteran, whether you're with a boutique or with a large franchise. As always, if you guys have any questions, you can shoot me an email, Michael at Marketing Luxury Group. And we have a lot of great free resources out there. If you go to joinluxegroup.com, joinluxegroup.com, we're expanding, we're growing. We have courses approved for continuing education in Florida, Georgia, and Texas, soon Illinois and other states. So if you are interested in perhaps being a trainer for our course as we scale up, we'd love to have a discussion with you. And my name is Michael Affido. You guys have been great. So continue to raise the bar no matter what you do. And remember, the news wants to divide you and they want to divide me. So turn the news off. I believe garbage in, unfortunately, garbage stays. So surround yourself with like-minded people, people that pull you up, people that get the best out of you and make somebody's day. Until next time, my name is Mike Lafido. You're listening to Luxury Listing Specialist Podcast. I'm your host. Make it a great day, and I appreciate everybody's time. Take care.